law?
Did I make this law?
Yeah.
Should I be expected to comply with this kind of thing?
So do you understand it?
No.
Here, does this help? That's a diagram.
Of what I'm looking at there?
Yeah, hold that up to the camera.
Good luck, boss.
And,
how is this meant to be explaining anything? How anybody supposed to realize what this is? Unless them have X amount of thousands of hours in law. Like, come on. What is this?
So basically 238.1, is that within, is this right here, within what you would call community standards?
Community standards?
Yeah, if somebody in your family or your friend came up with a...
No, if you go out into the general community, which are, the police are supposed to be policing the general community, so they know who we're talking about too. You go out into the general community, they don't understand this. Unless they sit down and like...
Do you see right here where it says you can be thrown in jail?
Yeah, no, I see that. Imprisonment.
So if you don't understand this, do you think you should be thrown in jail for not understanding that?
Of course not.
Have you ever met anyone who would be able to understand this?
Well, there's you, and...
No, I don't understand it. I can draw a diagram, but understanding it is even beyond me.
This is something different, man, because this is a diagram to a next diagram to a next diagram. Some of them things is connected, and some of them things is not connected, and I thought the law was supposed to be a whole thing. I thought, like, there's supposed to be a book or something about the law.
And don't you think the law should be understandable?
It should be. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be us who create the law.
So do you understand this? Do you understand Section 238?
This is not for the comprehension of everybody, the lay person.
Are you a stupid man?
No. I don't feel like I'm a stupid person.
So should anybody ever be charged under 238.1, in your opinion, as a member of the community?
As a member of the community, and as a member here, as a Canadian citizen, this law should be made more understanding, and nobody could be expected to come under the imprisonment for something that they don't understand.
So imprisoning someone for that, do you think that would be just?
No, that's not just. That's totally unjust. Totally unjust.
Mention that it seems like it's very difficult to understand these concepts. There's only a few key ones. They're quite simple, and once you start understanding those, you're not going to have to worry about everything else. Imagine for a moment you have a map. You want to go from point A to point B. You only have to worry about what's between point A and point B. You don't have to worry about everything else. We're going to try to keep it very, very simple. And the one thing, remember, Canada, it's a nation founded upon the rule of law. The rule of law, folks, is what this entire game is all about. It applies to everyone equally. I don't care if you're king or pauper, merchant or creditor or debtor. The rule of law applies to everyone. It's a beautiful thing. When you start understanding it and using it against the government agents, they're going to be hooped. The rule of law is very simple. It says conflict is avoidable. It's unnecessary. It's undesirable. When it raises its head, we are going to deal with it, and we're going to use discussion, negotiation, and then, if necessary, adjudication in a court of competent jurisdiction. You have the power to offer discussion. If they come to you and they want to get you into court, they'll try to get you into the adjudication. They want you to slide right past the discussion and negotiation phase, because in court, the judge can assume and operate on the assumption that you have tried to discuss, you have tried to negotiate, and it failed. That's where his power comes from. We have brought courts down. Wind goes right out of their sails if you point out, Your Honor, there has been no discussion in this matter and I can't consent to adjudication. They lose all their power. If you do this, one thing we did mess up with, you should have all the charges removed right then. They aren't discussing in good faith if you're discussing under charges hanging over your head. They are not set up to engage in discussion. The lawyers don't want to discuss it. They want to fight. They make all their money in adjudication. You can take all their fight away from them just by saying, look, I just want to talk. Just got some questions. I just want to talk. Give them notice of that. They have no power. The court's competency of jurisdiction is a result or the attempt of discussion and the failure of it. They have no jurisdiction without that. this little game that they've got us playing, there is a hierarchy to law. If you look on the right-hand side, natural law is the epitome. That's the top. Natural law is essentially your rights and duties to those whom you love. Imagine for a moment you're in a forest. You live there with your family, no one else is anywhere around. Your rights and duties to your family essentially boils down to the natural law. It's all about love. The natural law, what law is all about, it's all about fundamentally love. Below that you will have commercial law. Let's suppose in this forest there's now not just you with your family, there's another family, you live 100 miles away. Once a month you want to trade some of your berries for his fish. The commercial law now will deal with your transactions. And this commercial law has to do with trust. You need to be able to trust the people you're engaging in commercial actions with. Below that you have a common law. The common law, imagine for a moment in this forest where before you only had 2 people, now you got hundreds and thousands of families living here. You need a certain system, a certain structure that's going to allow all of these people the protection that commercial law will afford them. It boils down to compassion, and it boils down to the Magna Carta, which essentially said that the government within this structure are bound by their own rules. That's essentially what the common law is about. All of this side of the hierarchy of law, this all deals with your body as a human being. It has to do with your rights and your responsibilities and your duties as a human being in a common law jurisdiction. The other side of that is equity. This is all about law and truth. This side is all about equity and fiction. That line in the center represents the mirror I showed you over here. On the other side you have statutes, you have regulations, bylaws, and orders. They don't act on your body at all. They only act upon your person. They only act in equity. And here's the thing. People who exist in equity and act in equity cannot exit equity. Grab something that's existing only in law, drag it into it, and then try affecting it. Equity is a bitch, as they say, and you can only enter into it voluntarily. No one can ever force you. That's why they're using applications, registrations, and submissions and your signature. You voluntarily stepped into the equity game. A lot of what they're doing, let's bear in mind, we are all equal. If we are all equal, who has the right to make any demands upon you? Who has the right to do anything to command you, demand you, put orders on you? Who has the power? No one. The thing is, they never do that. Everything they do is an offer. Everything. It might appear to be a demand. They might label it an order, but then it's an offer for you to accept that their offer is an order. If we are all equal, the only tool they can possibly have is an offer. They get you to break the law because of how you deal with their offers. And it's all about dishonor. Let's suppose for a moment, you're at home, you're watching TV, your sweetie's in the kitchen. She asks you, honey, would you please take the garbage out? And you just ignore them. They ask you 20 times, you just keep ignoring them. Are you going to get any sweet, sweet lovin's that night? No, you dishonored your lover, you're not getting any. Now let's suppose they ask you again, would you take the garbage out? And you just say, no! And you flat out reject. Are they going to be happy with that? Are they going to express their love and respect for you? No! You've dishonored them. Your third option, they ask you to take the garbage out. Yes, honey, I'm right there and I'll do it right now. But then you might miss the big game on TV. You have a fourth option the government doesn't want you to know about. They're perfectly happy when they send you a notice and you ignore it. You're stepping into dishonor. They'll get you for it. They love it when you dispute it and you say no and you reject. You're in dishonor. They'll love you for it. They love you even more when you just bend over and do what they want you to do. Just get up and go do what they're telling you to do. You don't have to. You've got a fourth option. It's called the conditional acceptance. Remember, we're all equal. Honey, will you take the garbage out? Yeah, I'll take the garbage out. No problem doing that. And if you can prove to me that it can't wait for a commercial